It was rumored that he wanted out of Las Vegas, and there was going to be a heavy push by him to get out of there. They hired Clint Kubiak. Kubiak talks about how at his introductory press conference that he saw he was the first person in the building working out. He had a cup of coffee with him. He made this whole statement about how he wants to make sure he sticks around. He doesn't want to lose him. I think that Kubiak is the right adult in the room that could maybe get Crosby to buy in and to stay. Do you think that Crosby should stick around, or should he push to go to a contender?
Get out of Vegas, get out of that town, get away from that team. They've done nothing for Maxx Crosby his entire career. It's the same advice I gave for Myles Garrett. But sometimes these guys, they get comfortable. They got buddies on the team. They're part of the community. They're entrenched. They want to be one of the legends of the team. So I understand why he would stay, even though literally every fan on earth is like, please go to a contender. Could I please see some meaningful Maxx Crosby football, which we haven't seen in his entire career past week 12 in just about every year, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Every year after week 12, Maxx Crosby is laying it down on the line strictly for the fans. And that's something I respect with my whole heart. I really do. You go out there and you play for nothing in the NFL, and nothing obviously is subjective here, given the amount of money that they make and all the perks of being an NFL player. But to go out there and play with no stakes for your team for so long, I want him to go somewhere where he can win a playoff game, win multiple playoff games, maybe even compete in a Super Bowl. Get out of Vegas. They got nothing right now.
I think I agree with you. So this is why I'm conflicted. I want the Raiders to be good. I think that Davis, the owner, is a childlike buffoon. I think that the way that he has failed to honor his father's legacy and what he did for the NFL, Al Davis was a killer. I mean, that guy, the stories you hear about him, even when he came up, you got to respect the hubris that he had up until the very end of just, I'm going to ruin this thing into the ground because I'm going to continue to be as difficult as possible. I got to respect that. I think that Mark Davis is a big, dumb, idiot dope. And I think that a lot of times, something that's not talked about enough, feels like it's been talked about a little bit more lately, bad owners hold back teams. So when you've got the dumb, stupid, dopey, dumpy little son of Al Davis leading the team who doesn't have that same killer instinct, he's going to run them into the ground. I find it hard to believe that Davis is going to suddenly get this thing in the right direction. It feels like Brady maybe could have some positive leak. His aura of an NFL legend could kind of leak into the energy of this team and actually turn it around. Kubiak being hired feels like it's the first step for that. Mendoza coming on and being a part of this team and having Ashton Genty and having Brock Bowers. It feels like we're getting there, but the team is still young. So you need Maxx Crosby. I want the Raiders to be good. They are my whole point and what I was trying to get at there. Crosby needs to be there in order for the Raiders to be good, and I want the Raiders to be a good team. They are a really cool franchise, one of the best logos in sports. It feels weird that they're in Vegas, but them being good means so much for the NFL because they're just one of these historic franchises that exudes this awesome energy. When we've gotten those little glimpses of competitiveness, when Derek Carr was there, and even with Connor Cook went to the playoffs when Derek Carr got hurt, it just felt different. I want Crosby to stay because I want that to come to fruition. But at the same time, watching Trey Hendrickson waste his health, watching Myles Garrett waste his, pass rushers need to be on winning teams. Pass rushers can't turn things around as much as we hope that they can. So I'm conflicted, but I lean with you because at the end of the day, Crosby being on a team that would go to a Super Bowl would be so much more fulfilling. Seeing him in the AFC Championship game, or the NFC Championship game, make a big play. He deserves that.
Crosby has grown out of the Raiders, the modern Raiders, because I completely agree with you about the history of the Raiders. They're historically one of the coolest franchises in football. I think they were probably the coolest team in football up until the troubles of the 2000s, where they just have been stepping on their own feet every time they try to get a step ahead. And it's just a disaster. Also, I'm not sure, honest to God, in my heart of hearts, in my big smooth brain, what the Tom Brady impact is in Vegas. Honest to God, hand to God, I'm not sure what it is anymore because he's got this Saudi football league that he's promoting with Logan Paul, flag game and all that. Gallivanting around with some starlet. I'm not sure exactly who it is, but that's making headlines. Like, I'm seeing so much more from Brady outside of football than I am in football. Broadcasting stuff. All right, fine. He's not the first quarterback to go do broadcasting, but like, what is the Tom Brady impact on the Raiders? What has it been? Geno and Carroll, they're both out after a year. Was it just, hey, guys?
Well, how much of that was him, though? That's the thing that we don't really know.
I don't know. But it's like, I wouldn't say like Tom Brady is going to help keep Maxx Crosby there because I just don't know what that is, what his stake is, what his involvement is. I think he has too many rules around him for me to use that as like a selling point for teams. But for the quarterback position, I would agree that maybe having Brady in the building with Mendoza, a quote unquote building in the team program with Mendoza, not terrible. But for Crosby, get out, find a playoff team, and honest to God, he's one of these players where we're going to pitch ours. He could go and elevate every other team in the NFL.
So with that thought in mind, if he does get traded, where would be intriguing to go? My pitch here, I don't think yours is going to come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Payton of A to Z Sports does not think it's possible based on the Lions cap situation. I kind of spoiled yours. Does not think the Lions is possible. Let's talk about the Lions. Though. You put the Lions down. I think it would be cool. It would kind of be a little odd. Have we ever had a team with two white pass rushers?
Aren't the Boses linking up together?
I don't. Was that on the radar for him to join the 49ers?
One of them's recruiting the other one to come to the 49ers. I'm sure there have been two.
So Joey Bosa not on the 49ers is recruiting Nick Bosa. Is Joey Bosa recruiting himself to be on the 49ers?
Okay, one of the 49ers Bosa is recruiting the Bills Bosa to come to San Fran.
Okay. I don't know. Have we ever had two? This is such a stupid talking point. Have we ever had two white pass rushers?
Hendrickson Hubbard?
Bengals. Okay, so that solves that. Yeah. That solves that question. To get back on track for the non-stupid talking point, I just don't think Lions are going to happen because I think that the Lions' path to getting their pass rush, but they've got a lot on the books, and they also, I just don't think that their cap situation is conducive to going and getting Maxx Crosby. He's expensive.
They're going to be paying all offense. It's what the Lions do. It's what they have right now. The offensive talent that they need to retain, they're going to put the money there. But I'd like to see him in Detroit. I'd like to see him go back and be the Michigan guy with his college ties in the state. And then seeing him across from Aidan Hutchinson, who I saw at the Super Bowl. I mean, that would be a lethal 1-2. I really would, because that dude, Aidan Hutchinson, he's got to be 6'7", 6'8". I would almost say 6'9", because when I was rolling up on him, oh my God, I was looking up.
Yeah,
looking up at
you were looking up.
I'm not.
You were looking up.
I walked up on him. He had 10 people in his crew pushing all his chuds away, all his fat. Can I get a question? Pushing us away. And I was sitting there like, this guy is massive.
Hey, by the way, you had a total missed opportunity.
With what?
Going up to every single pass rusher you saw and doing a kick set.
Oh, I thought you said I should have. We're going to say I should have spat on Drew Brees, which is what I should have.
No. Your interview with him was nice. Why weren't you going up? So for people who don't know, Sean was an offensive tackle in college. If you can't tell by the small frame and the big head, you could have. That would have been the best bit. You probably would have pissed off a couple of people, but that would have been the best bit if you just start going, you just get it.
Here's that is a good bit.
Just trip and completely knock over someone's table.
The walkways were so congested. Like,
oh yeah,
42-year-old eat Arby's every day, congested artery clog. Like there was no foot room. I was half of my job was making sure I didn't trip and fall on top of my 5'2" camera lady who would just be a victim of a squishing crime. The footwork that I had to execute just to be able to walk around through that place is crazy. If my big ass had dropped into a 2-point stance and started shifting around, they probably would have kicked me out because of how small the venue was. They really would.
You would have missed an opportunity. That would have been. I think you should have done that. Okay, but you think? Any other thoughts though with the Lions though? Like,
they're a playoff.
They're $8 million in the hole in terms of cap. So I think they would make sense, but I don't think that's.
I'd honestly,
unless they got rid of someone.
I'd honestly like to see the Lions pull off the Rams operation where we are literally burning picks to get to Super Bowl. We are making trades with picks to get to Super Bowl. Like we have the young core. What are we doing it for right now? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what is this for if we're not going to go all the if we're not doing a complete push to the Super Bowl, it's all for naught, in my opinion, for Detroit, because they are that talented, they are that deep, and you add Maxx Crosby at the very least, Joe. It gives them defensive depth because that defense has been injured to all hell every single year. And then by week 9, we're like, this defense is bombed out. Why are they so good for the first 6 weeks when they were healthy? And now they're bombed out and they're struggling. It at least gives them another defensive end that could stick around. I want him in Detroit because he could help them win playoff games.
Yeah, the problem is, though, I'm not a cap expert. Goff is $69 million. Amon-Ra's $33. Aidan McNeil's cap number's $28. It's actually not.
Play Hendon. That's my stance now.
Admittedly, 8's not that bad. From just my general understanding of how the cap works, that if you got rid of someone and you restructured some deals, I think it would be possible. But to your point, the Lions would be a team and he would fit the vibe with Dan Campbell. I'm going to pitch one that's kind of a more of a joke because this team is $29 million in the hole in terms of their cap, and their team is run by their own dunce who I don't think understands how to effectively maneuver these things. And then I have a legit team that has a lot of cap space that should make this happen. I want it, for the irony's sake, for the Cowboys, for Jerry Jones to go and get him, because of how hilarious it would be for the circumstance of him pushing away Micah because he wanted all this money and he thought he was such a big deal, just for him to trade for a premier pass rusher. I think that would be hilarious. I don't think it's going to come to fruition, but that would be the most Jerry Jones thing possible, that he would convince himself that it was some brilliant move that he thought of. But I think that the Seahawks, who I $73 million in cap space, they have so much room to work with. The free agents this year aren't sexy, especially the pass rushers. Trey Hendrickson, if they wanted to pay him, who's kind of at the end of his career, they could pay him a ton of money to bring him in. They're like one really good pass rusher away from being top 5 defense to being the best defense in the NFL. That was the one deficiency for them, is that they didn't have like a real premier pass rusher. Imagine what McDonald could do with a guy like Maxx Crosby. I think that would be nutty if he brought him into the mix.
I think you put Crosby in Seattle, they're Super Bowl champions back to back. You put Crosby in Dallas, they're in the playoffs, and they might win the NFC East next year. Like, that's just with my confidence level with this guy, because he hasn't slowed down. That's the irritating part, is that like 1 out of 10 of these premier pass rushers, when they get into their late 20s, early 30s, 1 out of 10 of them just keeps on churning. Just keep hey, I'm Cam Jordan, I'm just going to keep on churning. Yeah. Others fall off the cliff. You make a mistake by paying him big money. Crosby does not feel like the mistake. He feels like the anomaly guy, where if you sign him and you get him out of this rancid pattern of losing with Vegas, that he can actually go somewhere, provide some juice, and get it done. What are you smirking at? What are you laughing at?
I had a bad joke. I said, I was going to say, hopefully he can bring Stills and Nash with him.
I swear to God, I want to be mad at you, but I've been trying to work a Kenny Stills joke, and I've been trying to think of Nash NFL players.
You've just been loosely working that?